Hey, it's Darik with another edition of Instagood on Now 100.5, powered by our friends, our partners at justserve.org, motivating service in the Sacramento community. We are here with Kirk Norman. He is, and I want to make sure that I introduce him properly to give him the respect he deserves, the Sacramento Area Coordinating Council Just Serve Specialist, or he said, just to keep it humble, you're a Just Serve Specialist. Welcome, Kirk. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about the program.
Absolutely. And, people hear us mention justserve.org a lot, and we have been working with them for quite a while now. And we feature almost every week on Instagood. We feature organizations around the Sacramento community that are doing incredible work, helping to motivate service, improve our community as a whole in Sacramento. And for those of you who may not have ever dive deeper into justserve.org, justserve.org is a community of nonprofits and organizations in the Sacramento area, not only in the Sacramento area, but in fact, Just Serve covers national, covers the live in, and you can find organizations that you can volunteer with, you can donate money to, and stuff like that. Kirk, I would love for you to tell our listeners, because Just Serve and Now 100.5 and Bonneville Radio have such a good relationship, and we care about motivating service. Tell us about your experience working in the organization, what you do, and why Just Serve is so essential, and of course all the organizations that are underneath it, or rather in it, that are so important.
Yeah, so for my wife and I, we help with the area that's, as you said, it's all over the United States. It's international. It goes beyond our U.S. borders. But my wife and I have the responsibility of helping the Sacramento regional area, which is from Manteca over to downtown Sac to El Dorado County, et cetera. And we are what we call the Just Serve Coordinating Council Specialists, which each of our local areas have a Just Serve specialist. So Sacramento East, Cordova, all these areas have a Just Serve specialist. We help them as they maneuver through and navigate the Just Serve. And for us, let me just tell you, Just Serve's it's a community outreach. It's meant to be a service to the community where we basically match opportunities and charitable organizations with people who want to volunteer. So in our area, we have literally dozens and even hundreds in our region of needy organizations. And for us, our goal is to help those get posted on the website. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. And then have volunteers come to the website so that they can match their skill sets to and their interests to what they want to do. The website is sponsored by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And it is a website intended and was invented with the intent to say, so many people want to volunteer, they just don't know how, and they don't know where to go. And there's so many charitable organizations that would love a place that was centralized, that they could go and say, you may not know, for example, let's say you're good with animals and you'd like to work with an organization that is rescuing animals, whatever it might be. You're just not sure where to go and what to do sometimes. We have so many of these organizations that post on our website of Just Serve, and they are literally organizations that come into the Just Serve portal, and they will look and see, if they can and what they might do to list their charity and describe their needs and their locale and everything that goes with that. They will be then looked at by the Just Serve specialist to vet them, to make sure, not just anybody can create their own little charitable need and and have it posted. So these are all well vetted. Yeah. Many of them are 501c3s, and many of them, some of them are not.
And you know, the greatest thing, in my opinion, about Just Serve is that exactly like you said, it tailors it to the individual who is interested in getting involved and motivating service to their passions, their desires to help whomever or even animals, as you said, in the Sacramento area. And one of the most pressing issues right now, I know obviously in the news, is the fact that there are a lot of Afghan refugees. And the idea of helping refugees is a very important uh, priority right now in our community. In fact, if you go to justserve.org, I saw that ORR, our Refugee Response, helps refugees settle in the Sacramento area. Can we talk a little about that?
Yeah, there's a multitude of organizations that are part of helping the arriving refugees. I'm not sure exactly how many have come to Sacramento. It's a growing number. We were supposed to get a very large number, but at this stage, they've come in a little bit less than what they thought. There's literally an opportunity for anyone to be involved with one of these organizations, like the one you just described.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Just Serve, you'll find them, and they talk about doing anything from kits, welcoming kits that give them information on how to adjust quickly to this environment,
Sure.
to home move-in kits, to some dietary foods that will help them adjust with things that are more palatable for their specific diets. All kinds of things that are being done right now as these refugees arrive.
And by the way, sorry to interrupt. I
Yeah,
was going to say, at last count, I think approximately 1,700 Afghan refugees have arrived to the Sacramento area. Does that sound right to you?
that sounds high. I think that's what we were told were coming.
Initially, yeah.
What we've seen is less than that. But again, honestly, it's grown every week, and my update was maybe 2 weeks ago, so it could be that high.
Wow. And there's so many organizations in the Sacramento area that we have partnered with, that we have done work with, that we've sat down and chatted with. I mean, Acres of Hope is another one. I'm a Placer County resident, and there are plenty up here. The Placer Food Bank, Stand Up Placer, uh, Lasagna Love provides
Thanks.
home cooked lasagna. I mean, it's so
It's a,
specific and
yeah,
amazing
it's a great
what
one.
our community does. I mean, we first of all, the culture of the Sacramento area is by far the most unique I've ever experienced living around the United States. The willingness and generosity and passion to help others is really a part of the Sacramento area community. It's part of who we are here, and it's just amazing the amount of organizations that do from general, if you will, to very specific things to help people in the community, feeding people, clothing people, anything that you can think of. This is why justserve.org is so essential, and we're so proud to be associated with it here at Bonneville, and of course our friends at our Latter-day Saints friends as well, is part of our organization in the community. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it's really faith. A lot of it is faith based and
Yes.
interfaith, and the Latter-day Saint Charities works really closely with the Catholic Charities, for example.
Yes, of course. Yes.
And
Yeah.
and it's truly an extraordinary opportunity. As someone sees what their interests might be, you would be amazed at what there is to
Oh, yes.
you out there. And again, doesn't matter age group. We've got a lot of young people who have commitments to their school, or the private schools, or they're part of clubs or whatever that they want to do, charitable service.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a great platform for them just to hop on, register, see what's good, and see where they can do it. If you've got 2 hours on a Friday afternoon, you can find something that works that time slot for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and in many of the ones that we have actually physically come to and I have participated in were like Saturday morning between 10 a.m. and noon, and I was hanging out. And I'm like, I want to be able to help, and this is an open day for me. And I feel like you said, you have a couple hours on a weekend, you can do good, you can motivate service, and you can help others, and it is the most profound and the most, in my opinion, the most important thing that an individual can do is service to others in their community.
Yeah, it is. For us, we see it. It's so beneficial to people who might be down and out, struggling, people who have um, more capacity, and people who, it's sometimes money helps, sometimes volunteer hours help. It just, it's just a lot of places. And as we live in the time and age that we do, coming out of this incredibly difficult last couple of years, it's surprising. There's more donations, at least there's been more donations given to our church in the last year and a half than any other time in its history. People are interested in being charitable and helpful.
And I think that people would find that those who were listening might find that counterintuitive, right? The last couple of years have been very hard for individuals financially. It's been hard to physically move from point A to point B with stay-at-home orders and quarantines. And it's amazing to me that even through the last 18 to 24 months of this pandemic, that we have seen these donations and this help being offered. It's pretty incredible. This just goes to show you the spirit of humanity, the human spirit to do good for other people. And that's what Just Serve is all about. That's why we love being a part of this organization. And if you have a personal story or organization, you specifically, Kirk, that you think is really unique and interesting, I would love to hear. I'd love to please share that with us. Organizations that you've worked with specifically, or just scenarios that you've been a part of that really moved you.
There's been several. One of my favorites, there's in Placerville, there's a place called Upper Room, and we serve there. And I moved from one area to back up to El Dorado County recently, and getting back and helping at that facility is great. The food bank and in all of our areas, there's food banks and food pantries, all of which are great that I've worked at that I think are great. I like. There's a handyman group that I have not worked with that I just found recently. I've tried to direct some people to them and their site, but it's called SAF, SAF/D. And it's just a bunch of handyman guys that put this together to help people who have handicapped rails and mobility issues, and help them build and put those together in their homes, for elderly. There's just so many different things. There's a little a person, and I think it's a child who's doing some sock monkeys, and there's people making blankets. There's people who do audiobooks right now. That's a big one. It's been nationally advertised. They're trying to do audiobooks and making them available throughout the United States to anybody, but they need people to read the books. And so,
well, I would love to do that.
Yeah, and you would be great at that.
I would love to do that. We'll have to talk about that offline, because I'd really like to get involved with that. We'll have to talk more about it.
Sure.
Our purpose here at Now 100.5 with Instagood, the most essential part about what we do is not so much entertaining people. The number one thing that we do is being involved in our community and service to the community. That is the core culture of what we do at Bonneville. And we are very, very proud of that. And we are happy to be associated with Just Serve and the individuals in that organization, like you, Kirk, and all of the incredible organizations that are a part of Just Serve, and all the projects and volunteer organizations that are a part of Just Serve, that are just doing incredible work for the Sacramento community. So again, thank you so much for joining us. And we're proud that we're able to be associated with you guys, and that we can continue to motivate service in the community. And for those people who are watching and listening and feel passionate, and maybe, you were watching this and you're like, it was meant to be, this was my time, I want to get involved, go to justserve.org, and the friends and people at Just Serve will vet you and match you with the right organization. So again, Kirk, thank you so much for representing an amazing organization. We're happy to be a part of it too.
Yeah, thanks, Darik, and thank you. Programs like Instagood are just amazing, and appreciate all you do. Happy to be here.
Kirk, thank you for your time again, and let's catch up and talk about me narrating a book.
Okay,
That'd be
got it.
Cool. All right. Thanks again, Kirk Norman, the Sacramento Area Coordinating Council, or aka the Just Serve Specialist. Thank you so much for joining us on another edition of Instagood.
You bet.